I'm in the heart of the European Parliament and I will talk to the most important parliamentarian. Welcome in the heart of the European Parliament here in Brussels. Mrs. MEP Christine Anderson, she's a member of the Health Committee and also Health Coordinator for ESN in the European Parliament. And we are going to talk about the future of health and the future of von der Leyen in the Commission as well. Christine, thank you that you are here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Regarding the future of health, how do you see the future of health in Europe?
Well, obviously you can look at certain issues, that we do need to tackle, like broad terms like cancer, is there new developments? And I'm not talking about mRNA injections against cancer now, but what kind of initiatives, can we actually look at? But my main concern is actually that in the EU Parliament, they've discovered the public health sector as this new means of taking even more competencies away from the member states, and they want to kind of regulate in the member states, and it is a competency of the member states.
And do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that they try?
Whenever the EU takes competences away from the member states, it has to be a bad thing. I mean, look at how this place is run. Look at who is actually running the show here, Ursula von der Leyen, and we're going to be talking about her in a bit. But giving this woman even more power is the exact opposite of what is good for the citizens.
Okay, you just mentioned Ursula von der Leyen. Let's talk about Ursula von der Leyen and accountability. There was something...
That's an oxymoron.
Okay, why is it the case?
Well, I mean, this woman seems to be made of Teflon, right? Nothing sticks. I mean, she can do whatever she wants, pretty much. And this house, which is kind of like supposed to hold her accountable for her actions, they simply refuse. So, I mean, she just, negotiates a huge contract, billions and billions of euros. And via short text messages, by the way, not even in the proper procedure. And she just does it. And, then when people kind of catch on to what she has done with her buddy, Albert Bourla, negotiating like billions and billions of euros, as I said, no one is holding her accountable for it. She doesn't have to produce the messages, nothing.
Yes. Thank you so much for mentioning it. Albert Bourla, he's the CEO of Pfizer,
right.
Who was responsible also for the negotiations with the European Union during the biggest contract ever.
Yes.
It's the biggest contract ever. The Pfizer COVID contract is the biggest billion euro contract that we had in the European Union. And we have problems with accountability there because some messages, like you said, are missing.
Yeah, so, I mean, number one, Albert Bourla is her buddy. They've been friends forever. So, and, they're just exchanging some text messages and, apparently negotiating the cornerstones of that contract.
Okay, but where's the big buff? Let's just look at the messages and maybe it's not a big deal.
But, I mean, the thing is, they can no longer be found. And
wait. One moment. They cannot be found?
Exactly.
But where were the messages?
We were inquiring to compel Ursula von der Leyen to produce those messages because under the Transparency Act, she has to keep all of, the documents. So first, the answer was, well, no, since it was short text messages via phone, they do not fall under the scope of, the documents that need to be kept. So they don't want to produce them. Then the court ruled, no, Ursula von der Leyen, you do have to produce those text messages.
Yes,
then
perfect. But wait. one moment we have a court ruling.
Yes.
So why is it such a big deal? And the court ruling is saying you have to be transparent. Please
Well,
be
they actually
transparent.
said you violated your own rules and transparency.
Okay,
So produce
but then
them.
everything is okay.
Well, you would think so.
We have now the messages. Have we?
No, we still don't, because it wouldn't be Ursula von der Leyen if she didn't try to weasel her way out of that one too, which she then did by claiming, well, these text messages had to be deleted due to capacity constraints of her device. I mean, I'm seriously, capacity constraints? We're not back in the 90s, you know, where you really had capacity storage constraints. This is we're in 2026.
Yeah. Yes, and it's unimaginable that we have such lack of personal accountability for the biggest billion-euro contract ever.
Yes. And just look at the sheer numbers of the contract.
Yeah.
She negotiated procurement for 4.3 billion doses.
Excuse me, could you...
4.3 billion doses. That is half the planet.
Yeah.
And remember, in the beginning, we were told everyone needs 2 shots. Why would she procure doses for half the planet? What did this woman know that we didn't know in the beginning? So it's an insane number to even negotiate that.
Yeah, true. Apart from the number, how much it is, let's go back to the accountability, the personal accountability and the messages of this biggest deal ever that the European Union made. I remember the European Parliament, all parties were cheering when the ruling
well, not
from
all
the
parties.
court...
My party certainly didn't. My group certainly didn't.
No, we're cheering when the court ruling came. I remember most of actually all parties said, okay, yes, great, there needs to be accountability from the Commission. So what is the next step? When do we have those text messages to clear Mrs. von der Leyen?
Well, like I said, she now claims they had to be deleted since the storage capacity on her phone was just overwhelmed. So that was one issue. Then, of course, you have the other issue. That is actually a big deal, what we're talking about. The court ruled, look, you have to do this. But that would mean that the parties that are still supporting her, the groups in this House, the fractions that are still supporting her, they would actually have to have the guts to stand up and say, look, Ursula, you've gone far enough. Now we put a stop to it, but they won't.
Okay, that was my follow-up question. What could be concrete steps for accountability in the biggest health contract ever that we had? Just to clear her name, what could be possible steps?
Well, I mean, she should just step up and say, yeah, guys, you know what I'm being accused of, it really kind of happened this way.
But what is she actually accused of?
She is accused of not following the procedures. She is accused of shuffling billions and billions of euros down her buddy's throat. She is, rather than taking the concerns for the health of the citizens of the member states into account, she was more concerned with, like I said, providing billions and billions of euros to the pharmaceutical company. So that's corruption. That is corruption.
So are you saying that Ursula von der Leyen is corrupt?
Oh yeah, I'm saying that. I said it in plenary. One time they even killed my mic for having said that. But I repeated it because that is the definition of corruption. Yeah. If an elected official is more concerned with pleasing her buddies or pleasing an industry rather than doing the right thing by the people that, well, she was not elected by, but that she is supposed to do right by.
Okay, but what could be possible steps? Because I know also that you are on the forefront regarding PfizerGate and the accountability for the biggest health contract ever. what are possible steps for accountability?
Well, number one, what we as a parliament can do, and which actually should be our prerogative, if that was a real parliament, which the EU parliament really is not a real parliament. But that's a different
True,
discussion.
side story.
A different discussion
yes.
for yet another day.
Yeah.
So, of course, our job is to hold the government, the EU Commission is pretty much the government of the EU, hold them accountable. So how do you do that? Well, there are several instruments. For example, a committee of inquiry.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Perfect. Let's
Yeah.
stay there.
Yeah, and me, idiot, I haven't thought about that. Of course I did. And of course we did. So what we did is we tried to establish a committee of inquiry into all of the corruption that went on regarding PfizerGate, regarding some other issues too. And
when is the committee coming?
yeah, well, that's a good question. When is it coming? If it were up to them, if it is up to the majority of the House, apparently never, because they don't want to be bothered with actually holding Ursula von der Leyen accountable. What happened was, so in this House, it says in the rules of procedure, you need 20% of the MEPs wanting to establish a committee of inquiry. Which is actually kind of like a shortfall because it is not made out to be a minority right. In Germany, in the parliaments, if the 25% of the members of a house say, we want this, it will come. In this house, we need a majority of the plenary. Mm-hmm. And what's the point of that? I mean, the majority of any given parliament is usually the one backing the government. So how can a parliament then control government? But in this house, it's like that. But they wouldn't even give us that. They didn't even put it to a vote in parliament.
Who is they?
Yeah, I'm going to elaborate on that. So there is like the Conference of Presidents, and in general, they're concerned with technical issues.
Yeah.
You know, they do decide what topics get to be added to the agenda. And they talk about speaking time, how much time is allocated for this or that or that. So it's technical things.
Yeah.
But what they did in this case, they actually took a decision whether or not the parliament gets to vote on establishing a committee of inquiry.
Great, but they will be in favor of transparency and accountability.
You would think.
It's important for the citizens
Yeah, you would think
outside.
they were. But turns out they weren't. So the majority in the Conference of Presidents, they actually said no. We don't even need to vote on that, which I feel violated. I mean, I'm elected member of the German citizen, and they hold me accountable too. But how can I be held accountable? How can I justify what we are doing here if I'm prevented from doing my job, which is to hold the EU Commission accountable?
Yeah.
So I chose.
I think everybody should feel violated in their rights.
My
as
rights have been violated.
Also
Exactly.
of the European Union. And if transparency and accountability are such an important thing of identification of Europe, it should also be lived. And what you are saying, it is not lived right now by Ursula von der Leyen. So the path, the plenary path, let's say, with the committee, that will be tough. But I know that the New York...
I took actions against that. So I'm actually, I'm fighting it in court. I'm fighting that decision alongside with two colleagues. It's Marieke Elers from the Netherlands and Charlie Weimers from Sweden.
Yes.
We are fighting it in court. We want this decision that was taken in this back room kind of body. We challenge this decision. And at the very least, they have to give us a vote in plenary on that.
And what do you say, why is it so important? Let's say the court rules in your favor. Why is it so important to have this kind of accountability?
Well, it is important so the citizens can actually see who is, on their side, who is actually wanting to have accountability. Because once we have a vote in plenary, it's public. And the citizens, they can see, okay, that MEP voted against and that voted against, and that MEP is actually for transparency. It would just, kind of like push aside the curtain. But having that decision in the backgrounds, the citizens don't even know who is for transparency and who is against it. So we need this vote in plenary. At the very least, we need that vote in plenary.
So if I understood you right, if we have then the vote, at least we can see who is in favor of transparency and accountability and who is saying, no, we want to protect maybe even somebody.
Other interests other than the citizens' interests.
And what do you think what these other interests are?
Money. It's mostly money. Then for a lot of MEPs in this house, it is, they're finally belonging to the club, kind of, They get invitations to, I don't know, dinners or, even playing golf or whatever. They want to protect pretty much their status. But all the while, they're forgetting who is actually paying their salary, and that is the citizens. So we're bound to do right by the citizens and not by special interest groups or, the industry or whatever.
And could you give me maybe a timeline what your lawyers anticipate? How soon we could...
Yeah, well, that's going to be a tough as well. The time the court needs or whatever, we're looking at a decision, which is not with 26 now, which is probably not going to be the end of 27, somewhere around there. So by that time, it's probably way too late in this legislature to establish such a committee. So that's why we also petitioned the court to have an expedited procedure.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so the court will deal with it quickly.
Yes.
But they denied us that. And it was quite interesting that the Parliament administration, they had obviously to respond to our filing that claim. And they came up with with the reason why, no, we don't need to deal with it quickly with the expedited procedure, because there is going to be enough time to deal with it some other time.
Yep.
Another interesting argument was we don't need a decision in plenary. We simply don't need it. Don't need to put it to a vote in plenary because the majority in the Conference of Presidents is the same as the plenary, which is an interesting point, given the fact that in the Conference of Presidents there is one that the presidents of the groups they're sitting there. So, but the MEP is the one actually taking the decision. So if you say we don't need a vote in plenary because the majority in the COP is the same, then I ask you, what's the point of having a plenary at all?
So what are you saying? What is the worst case scenario if you are going to lose the ruling?
Well, the worst case scenario is that the decision of the COP stands, that this does not have to be put to a vote in plenary. But that is a betrayal on the citizens. Once again, it's the members that are the elected representative. It's not the leadership.
And why is this betrayal so heavy? I mean, we had QatarGate, now PfizerGate started also a couple of months ago. People are slowly forgetting. Ursula von der Leyen was re-elected. Why is it so...
Beyond me, but
why is this such a pressing issue?
Because it's quite clear. Ursula von der Leyen, as the Commission President, she has no interest in actually what's right for the people.
Why you are saying that?
I mean, it's like Louis XIV, right? The Sun King. I mean, she just does whatever she wants and weasels her way out of any situation.
So you are saying Ursula von der Leyen is making politics like Louis
XIV, yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty harsh statement, let's say.
Yeah, well, I stand by it, though. I
Yeah.
mean, look at her demeanor. Look at how she is, carrying herself. She seems to be aloof and above it all, And despite the fact that there were, in this legislature alone, there were 4 motion of censure against her. So, prompting her to step down. She survived all of them.
But where's the big deal? Just release the messages that you had between the CEO with Pfizer. Just release them
If I were Klaus Schwab now, I would tell her, if you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to fear.
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
True.
What is she hiding?
Yes.
What is she hiding?
Yes, well said. What is she hiding?
Yeah.
And we are going to follow up also in the future on this topic. We wish you the best regarding the fight for accountability here in the House. And thank you so much for your time. And till the next time.
Thank you.